Your match commentary team is the former Norwich striker Dean Ashton, and alongside him, Jim Proudfoot.
Stance, and a very good evening to you. Ipswich's win last night saw Leicester drop to second in the Championship. The victory here will take them back to the top and 11 points clear of third place Leeds as the halfway stage of the season approaches. Now, Millwall only missed out on the Championship playoffs on the last day of each of the last two seasons. So in that context, their current malaise is even more worrying. Joe Edwards won his first game in charge, but a run of 3 defeats in 4 since has combined with others finding form, and the Lions are only 2 points clear of the bottom 3 coming into tonight. Leicester mathematically came into this week's fixtures with the most points of any Championship side in history after 20 games. So they can say they're the best team this level's ever seen. How do Millwall stop that?
Very, very difficult, and when you're not in great form, this isn't the place you want to come, because I've been so impressed with the way that Enzo Maresca has set this team up. He's revitalised some of the players that barely kicked a ball last season. The likes of Vestergaard in particular, I think has been fantastic, and shown the desire, the hunger that you need in this division. Saturday, Tuesday. There's been many players that have done that. And the way they keep the ball is very, very impressive. Winks in particular is that man that just, I keep saying he's the pop pass master. He just keeps things moving and almost lulls the opposition into a trance. So Millwall have got to be concentrated, but at the same time, I think they can cause Leicester problems either on the break or certainly from set plays.
Well, this is how the two teams line up. Leicester in possession will look like a 3-2-2-3. Hermansson in goal. Cody back in the side tonight. Vestergaard and Faes. Pereira and Winks. And Didi and Dewsbury Hall. Fatawu, Daka and Mavididi. Millwall have played with both a back 3 and a 4 under Joe Edwards. We think it'll be a 4-4-2 tonight. That's the way they've gone the last few games. Sarkic in goal. Leonard, Harding, Cooper and Wallace. Norton, Cuffy, Saville, Campbell and Honeyman, with Watmore off Bradshaw. What are your thoughts on the two teams? Starting first of all with Leicester City, Dean.
I think it's interesting that Cody gets a start, because he's not really been the in-man for Enzo Maresca. And how will that affect who will play as the kind of starting at left back? But as we know, Pereira will go into midfield and then it becomes a back 3. So who is going to be that left-sided centre-back, or will it be Vestergaard? So that'll be interesting to see. But again, I mean, obviously no Iheanacho, no Vardy, but you got Patson Daka as your third choice striker, which kind of makes a mockery really in this division that you've got that depth of quality in your centre forward. So they'll be very, very difficult. And will it be a 4-4-2 for Millwall? I very much doubt it. And what he's done is he's brought in players that he knows will put in a right shift, that are disciplined, that are intelligent out of possession. The likes of Watmore, Honeyman, Saville coming back in. And I think they're not going to outplay Leicester. And if you think you can, then I think they'll get beat easily. I think they'll try and be hard to beat. And they've got to have quality when they have the ball, and that's the key, really.
The benches tonight, Justin, Cassidy and Chowdhury. It's Justin and Chowdhury that drop out of the side that beat Plymouth 4-0 at the weekend. Pratt, Cannon and Maswanisa. Nelson, and then 2 goalkeepers, Ward and Stolacic. For Millwall, the subs, McNamara, Hutchinson, Nisbet, Mitchell, Fleming and Longman. It's only the second game all season that Zian Fleming hasn't started. And Marco Esse and the veteran Bartosz Biewkowski. The referee tonight is Keith Stroud. Leicester in all blue and Millwall in their change kit of white shirts and black shorts. Well, Leicester's home form has been pretty impressive this season, but they have lost twice. Beaten here by Hull, and also live on Talksport 2 by Leeds United. Millwall's away record much, much better than their home form. It is their form at the den this season that has them in their precarious position in the table. Away from home, they've been pretty tidy. Well, before the game starts, the Leicester players take the knee. Millwall's counterparts standing respectfully. And it will be the Foxes that will get us underway. They're kicking from right to left in this first half. And very much a back 3 as far as Leicester are concerned, even from the kickoff, lining up with Cody on the right, Vestergaard in the middle of the 3, and Wout Faes, the Belgian, on the left, with Pereira just dropping into that midfield position alongside Harry Winks. So an ultra-attacking side, an ultra-attacking lineup, 3-2-2-3, Leicester tonight.
Yeah, very much so. I think they know that they're going to have the bulk of possession. Millwall only 19th for average possession. About Fast, I think, probably is rightfully in that left-hand side role, left back going into a left centre-back role. I think he's the most versatile, really. Probably the quickest, you would say, out of himself, Cody and Vestergaard, and probably sees himself as a bit of a player as well. So he'll probably drive forward and drive into midfield too.
Yeah, I think probably he's doing a fair bit of heavy lifting there. I think he definitely sees himself as a bit of a player, and so he should. Because as cultured ball-playing centre-halves go, he is right up there. And there's certainly a Premier League quality player, as the vast majority of his Leicester teammates are as well. Free kick to Millwall, which they will take inside the centre circle. We've got a minute behind us here on Talksport 2. Jim Proudfoot and Dean Ashton talking you through the action tonight. Leicester starting on a run of 12 wins in the last 15 league games, and they've won 6 out of the last 7 here with a magnificent defensive record during that time. Millwall, 3 defeats in 4, only 1 win in their last 10. The ball stood up towards the edge of the penalty area, but he was hung in the air towards Cooper. The referee had spotted an infringement. I don't think against Cooper, but the whistle has gone, and it's a free kick that Leicester will take on the edge of their own penalty area. A couple of minutes gone here on Talksport 2, still 0-0.
That's a little bit soft. That's going to make it very difficult for Millwall to be a threat from set plays if things like that are pulled up.
Now Leicester trying to break forward very quickly down the right flank. It was an excellent early ball. But down the touchline, just slightly overhit. Fatou giving chase. Well, was unlucky that he couldn't quite bring it under clean control. That'll be a throw that the Lions will take level with the edge of their own penalty area. It's Harding that has thrown it forward. Now the Lions able to bring it down in the midfield and trying to release Brooke Norton-Cuffy down the right-hand side. Norton-Cuffy, who's on loan from Arsenal, had a couple of very impressive loan spells last season as well. One at Coventry and the other at Rotherham. He's got good pace. He's got a lot of miles on the clock as well for a teenager. Nearly 90 senior games behind him already. And he's won a throw here, which is going to be taken by Ryan Leonard. Hurled up the line by Leonard, flicked on by Bradshaw. Watmore's going to get there. Vestergaard stamps it away, but it's out of play for a throw that'll be taken on the Lions' right-hand side down by the Leicester corner flag. Yeah,
I think Joe Edwards will be really pleased with the way that his team have started. And, you know, it can go one of two ways. You can either just sit back and just completely concede, or you can be pretty brave. And I think with the way that they've set up, certainly with Watmore closer to Bradshaw, I think they are going to be brave this evening.
So it's a long throw, hurled in towards the corner of the 6-yard box, flicked on by Wallace, but it'll just drop down on the edge of the 6, and Hermansson's able to come out. Good, clean pair of hands, and bowls it out quickly for Keenan Dewsbury Hall. Left-footed crossfield pass from him, changing the line of attack, and getting Fatou forward down that right-hand side. Just play back towards the edge of the centre circle, and Didi and Winks linking up the play. Fast has it now, with the mop of curly hair. Just played inside the centre circle where Ricardo Pereira plays it in towards Ndidi, closed down very quickly, and Wallace was able to knock it away. Saville then will go back to the edge of his own penalty area where Cooper drops it off at the feet of Leonard. And then Norton-Cuffy just caught in possession. Dewsbury Hall trying to get towards the byline. He's going to get there ahead of Leonard. A challenge from the Millwall defender. Got it half clear. Norton-Cuffy can do the rest, but Leicester pushing up from halfway will win the seconds with Fast, and now Cody finds Ndidi, and Leicester will be able to push forward again. Ricardo Pereira playing it out to the right-hand side. Another opportunity for Leicester to try and deliver. Ball in towards the near post, and it was attacked there by Patson Daka, who scored on his first start under Maresca at the weekend. Vestergaard gets it all the way back to his goalkeeper, and Hermansson's got all the time in the world to be able to knock it forward. Millwall actually playing with a back 5, with Norton-Cuffy dropping in pretty much as a right back. Did play a lot of his junior football at Arsenal as a right back, but he's played as a right back and a right winger in this loan spell with the Lions. Wallace on the left, and then Leonard, Cooper and Harding, the 3 centre-halves for Millwall. So they're pretty much going 5-2-3 at times, but obviously 5-4-1 when they haven't got the ball.
Yeah, I think that's right. Out of possession, Norton Cuffy coming back. I think that is important. That left-hand side, Dewsbury Hall for me is the best player in the Championship, and the way he drifts into those positions and then leaves Mavididi usually 1v1 with the fullback. They don't want that, so Norton Cuffy got an important role there to get back and help out Leonard.
I'm not doubting you, but just underlining that statement. He's the best player in the Championship.
For me, absolutely. I think he's a wonderful, wonderful talent. The only thing I think he can improve on still is probably physically. I think he can still get a little bit stronger with that upper body strength once he does. I mean, it's the time of season, isn't it, where teams will be looking at players that have started this Championship season well, and he's one of those. I'm sure plenty of Premier League sides will be looking at him.
Well, the first Championship goal of the night has been scored at Carrow Road. It's Norwich 1, Sheffield Wednesday 0. Borja Sainz scoring that goal for the Canaries, who've lost 3 of the last 4 at home, but got their noses in front tonight. They're in action, of course, against Ipswich in the Old Farm Derby at the weekend. It's Saturday, and it's live on Talksport 2. And Dean, amongst those talking you through the action, from a purely neutral standpoint, of course, Cody knocking it forward out to the right-hand touchline. Challenge is flying in. And a free kick's given Leicester's way. There are a couple of poor challenges within the space of about 3 seconds.
Yeah, I think it's Ndidi who's come off worse. I think it's Fatu who was challenged. And then, I know it's Pereira, actually. Which, just not used to seeing him in that right-back position. He spends so much time in midfield that it's rare that he then drifts back into a right-back position. Ricardo Pereira, who's another one of those players that missed a lot of football through injury. He's got the armband on, and he's having a terrific season, who looks like he's enjoying himself in the Championship, as you should. It shouldn't be a case of heads down because you've been relegated. It should be heads up because it's a real opportunity to play and to win football matches.
Now it's George Honeyman that was the perpetrator of that challenge. Just a little ticking off from Keith Stroud, who's got a quick return here. He was in charge of Leicester's win over Sunderland on this ground about 5-6 weeks ago. Has taken charge of the Lions, albeit in defeat once already this season as well. We played 8 minutes and we haven't had an opportunity worthy of the name so far. Leicester with the majority of possession. Norwich leading 1-0, the only goal in the Championship so far tonight, as the ball is played down the Leicester left. Mavididi retreating from an offside position. Didn't get back quickly enough, and the flag is up against him. Free kick that George Saville will take. In fact, it's going to be left for Ryan Leonard to take on this right-hand side. Yeah, Millwall's away form, the 7th best in the division, so that's playoff form away from home. Only lost 3 of the 10 that they played, but their form at home is the worst in the division. That's where it has been going wrong for them so far this campaign. But they've got a puncher's chance tonight against the Leicester side, who have been beaten here twice this season by Hull and Leeds, 2 of the 3 defeats that they've suffered in this Championship campaign so far. But they've won all but one of the rest of the games. Ball headed forward by Yannick Vestergaard. Then brought down by Dewsbury Hall. And trying to ride the challenge which came in from Saville. He's won a throw which will be taken on the Leicester left-hand side with 9 minutes gone. Early today, Manchester City winning by 3-2. Calvin Phillips, the man that got the winner, away to Red Star Belgrade. And the other Champions League game that has already taken place today. Leipzig beating Young Boys 2-1 as Millwall played inside the penalty area and they've scored. What a start. It's a sensational goal. Tom Bradshaw's really struggled in front of goal this season. Just the one for him, but he's made up for that in sensational style. The travelling Lions fans away to our left-hand side jubilant as Tom Bradshaw puts Millwall ahead against second-place Leicester. The ball just whipped him from the left-hand side. Wallace doing well. And then a little flick header from Bradshaw as he made a darting near-post run. Got goal side of Vestergaard and just helped Wallace's cross in past the goalkeeper. Brilliant start from Millwall. They lead 1-0.
Yeah, shock here. And I tell you what, Duncan Watmore has made something out of nothing. It was just a flick on from Wallace down that left-hand side. Watmore had no right to win it. He did. He then laid it back to Wallace, and in that chance, then Honeyman had made a really clever run, actually, just maybe taken the eye line of Vestergaard, which meant then Bradshaw could make a really clever run. I mean, there's no way in the world Bradshaw should beat Vestergaard in terms of height to that ball, but it was a clever run. He was in front of the centre-back, and all it needed, because of the pace of the ball, was just a little glance. Just guide that in towards the back post. It was glorious from Bradshaw, exactly what he needed to do. No chance for Hermansen, and it's a surprise 1-0 lead.
Well, it's exactly what he needed to do, and exactly what he needed, because he was last season's top scorer with 17, but he'd only scored once all season, the third goal in the 3-0 win against Rotherham. Just one goal in 20 appearances. But he's made up for that with a potentially very significant one. Greeted with jubilation by the Millwall fans here, and undoubtedly by the Ipswich fans at home listening on. Leicester 0, Millwall 1. But a long, long way to go. They have come back from 1-0 down on a couple of occasions already this season. They beat Coventry here and won at Swansea, having conceded the first goal. But they're going to have to win this one the hard way. Fast has done really well to keep the ball in on the left-hand touchline. Rolls it down for Mavididi. It's put out of play by Leonard for a throw that is taken quickly to Wout Faes. Didi trying to help it on. Big handball shout against Harding. Nothing given. Opportunity for Duncan Watmore to make his way forward, and he's found Bradshaw, corner of the penalty area. Bradshaw standing it up towards the far post where Wallace is arriving, but he couldn't get any purchase on the header. Nods it into the ground, and it's comfortably claimed by Hermansen. But Leicester know they're in a game here, Dean.
Oh, they certainly do. It's another great break, as Harding is surely going to be booked for that challenge on Fatawu.
He is indeed.
Now, just going back to that break, it was again, it was Watmore. He's a threat, isn't he? Still got that pace that he's always had. Driving away, Bradshaw on the right-hand side. He stands it up for Wallace to go and attack it. And I tell you what, Cody does brilliantly, because Cody knows he's probably going to get beat because he's hanging there. He's not got a run at the ball, and Wallace has. But he just does enough almost to shove himself into Wallace as he tries to head it, which means he just can't get the power on the header. Clever defending from Connor Cody.
Leicester then breaking quickly. Harding with the foul on Fatawu. First player to have his name taken. Millwall's disciplinary record, actually, is exemplary. I just ask you to think of a number. How many games do you think they've played in the league since they last had a player sent off? Just let you contemplate that for a couple of minutes. Honeyman ends up with the ball at his feet, but Saville has fouled Faes. And it's a free kick inside the centre circle that'll be taken by Leicester. 13 minutes gone. Millwall leading by a goal to nil. Norwich 1, Sheffield Wednesday 0 remains the only other goal in the Championship so far. We're keeping an eye on the games in the FA Cup, the National League South, the Scottish Championship as well tonight, and of course the Champions League, where the games will be underway very shortly. Dewsbury Hall. Played down towards Mavididi. Mavididi on the edge of the penalty area. Nice reverse ball in from him. Dewsbury Hall taking towards the byline, standing up across. Just couldn't quite get it over Sarkic, who was able to claim at the second attempt.
Yeah, Norton Cuffy in that right-back role, but I tell you what, Mavididi just went past him like he wasn't there. It's just that little shimmy and that explosive first 3 yards from Mavididi. Very, very difficult to stop. Lovely little reverse pass into Dewsbury Hall. It's always in that left channel. And he's trying to do the right thing in standing it up and over Sarkic, but the goalkeeper's done well. He's come right beyond the near post, giving all that space if it goes over his head for it to be scored into his net, but did that because he knew he could then get the height and grab it.
Those are thoughts of the former England international striker Dean Ashton here at the King Power Stadium tonight. Leicester 0, Millwall 1. This is the first league meeting of the two sides for 10 years. Leicester did the double over the Lions in that last Championship season, although Millwall have knocked Leicester out of the FA Cup since then with a last-minute goal from Sean Cummings, a cup shock which put the Lions a quarter-final tie some 7 seasons ago. In fact, Jake Cooper played in that game, got himself sent off, but Millwall, down to 10 men, still won it. Faes play through the midfield to Ricardo. Back for Yannick Vestergaard. Vestergaard, who's 1 yellow card short of a 2-game ban. He's already had 9 cautions this season. And so his tackles will certainly be watched closely by Keith Stroud tonight. Mavididi back for Fas. Fas is 5 yards inside his own half, actually retreats into an even deeper position before laying it back for Vestergaard. Cody now can bring it forward. Connor Cody, who's making only his 5th start of the season since his summer move from Wolves. Vestergaard has it, controls it with his right foot, turns it briskly down towards Fas. Dewsbury Hall showing for the ball, has it, it's played into feet, and then it's laid back for Fas again.
It's just interesting with how compact Millwall are making their defensive shape. You know, from the halfway line, they're only giving, within the Leicester attacking half, they're only giving them half of it. You know, they're keeping quite a high line. I think as players, you've got to try and figure out a way, you know, make decisions that are going to help the side. And if I'm one of the front three and they're keeping that high line, I'm not just going to keep coming to the ball and making it really tight.
Leicester on the front foot again here. Chance to play back for Daka, who's waiting near the penalty spot. It was cleared. Wallace whacks it further away for Millwall. Vestergaard, the tallest man on the pitch, but still misjudged the bounce, which almost went over his head. And Winks rescues it, shows great faith in his goalkeeper by firing an aerial ball back some 50 yards to Hermansen. Came outside his penalty area, controlled it on his solar plexus, dropped it onto his left foot, and very neatly got Leicester going again. Wilfred Ndidi in possession, back towards Winks, and just going back to that point you were making, Dean. Leicester having to find ways to figure out how to break this deep-lying back five down, but when they can get the ball into wide positions as they did there's often space for the likes of Daka if they peel away towards the edge of the penalty area.
Yeah, exactly, and the joy that they're having is out wide with Fatawu and Mavididi when they're 1v1 against their fullback, because they're excellent dribblers and they then draw another Millwall player across. But I just think with the front three, when it's condensed in that manner and your centre-backs want to play it into your midfield players, Winks and Ndidi and Dewsbury Hall, you have to then try and stretch the defence. So you have to make runs in behind that you're probably not going to get the ball. But it means then your midfield players have a bit more space to get hold of it.
Honeyman, as Campbell did well to cut out a Leicester attack. And Bradshaw will lay it back for Norton Cuffy. Deeper from him to Leonard. Leonard into the feet of George Saville, the Northern Ireland international. Cooper's got it now. A play to his left-hand side for Wes Harding, the one-time Birmingham defender who arrived having been released from Rotherham in the summer. Now Leonard playing it forward with the outside of the right boot, but he just couldn't quite spear it into Bradshaw's run. And he goes out of play for a Leicester throw. First Champions League goal of the night. Royal Antwerp 1, Barcelona 0, which I don't think too many will have seen coming inside the opening couple of minutes. Arthur Vermeeren scoring that goal, which is academic. By and large, Antwerp already out, Barcelona already through. Barcelona win the group unless they lose that game. Shakhtar Donetsk win theirs away to Porto, and there's a 7-goal swing. Ain't going to happen. But famous moment for Royal Antwerp tonight, scoring at home to Barcelona inside the opening couple of minutes. 0-0 everywhere else. We'll keep a close eye, of course, on Newcastle United's prospects of qualification from the Champions League. And over on Talksport right now, Adrian Durham at St James's Park with Steve Harmison, talking through the action reports on all the goals as they happen and keeping you abreast of all the pertinent details. Tonight here in the East Midlands, it's still 1-0 to Millwall after that 10th minute opener from Tom Bradshaw. Fast sending one over the top, too high for Patson Daka, and it rolls through for goalkeeper Matija Sarkic. Now the Montenegrin will take a couple of touches and wait for players to push upfield. Millwall already, and this is, as I often say, it's an observation, not a criticism, because I would want my goalkeeper to do the same, but they're already indulging in a little bit of time management as well. They might.
Yeah, I don't blame them.
No, neither do I.
I think, but they've come with a plan. Genuinely come with a decent plastic good ball.
And it is Honeyman finding Bradshaw, gets a shot in, and it's side netting only.
Real chance. Really great pass from Honeyman. Takes it on the back foot. Sees Bradshaw, makes that run between Fass and Vestergaard. Just plays it into his path. He's got the beating of Vestergaard for pace, but and he's trying to say to the referee, Keith Stroud, he's trying to say that I've been pushed as I'm about to shoot. Well, yeah, that's what centre-backs do. When they can't quite make the tackle, they just shove you just as you're about to take the strike. And Vestergaard's done well because he's put him off, and it meant he put it into the side netting rather than testing Hermansen. Good defending or naive from Bradshaw? A bit of both.
Leonard heads away as Leicester try and get a high aerial ball into the flight path of Dewsbury Hall. Mavididi picking up the loose ball, plays it behind square for Wout Fast. Now towards Harry Winks. Winks through the midfield for Dewsbury Hall again. Dewsbury Hall working it round the corner, and it was laid off by Daka back towards him, but a poor challenge came in on Daka, and a yellow card is shown to Cooper. And that's 2 of the 3 Millwall centre-halves who've been booked inside the opening 20 minutes.
I don't think he needs to do it, because Daka has got to beat him, and then he's got to beat Harding, who's behind him, and Leonard's right there to his right-hand side. So you don't need to dive in. You're not going to win that there. So just stand him up. You're too physical for him. Make him play it backwards, and you've done your job. Now you're on a yellow card. You've got a long part of the game to play, and you're going to have to now be careful.
I was talking earlier about Millwall's excellent disciplinary record. I haven't had a player sent off this season, or the last one, or the one before. You've got to go back to January 2021 for the last time they had a player sent off in a league game. It's the longest streak of any of the 92 at the moment. This is the 138th game since they had a man sent off in the league.
I'm glad I didn't say my 52 then.
Now the ball clipped in by Dewsbury Hall. Fast with a header. Comfortably claimed by Sarkic. Got the dip on it, but Sarkic able to take a step across to his left-hand side and claim it pretty comfortably.
Yeah, difficult to get the power on it. It was more of a clipped ball in, wasn't it, from Keenan Dewsbury Hall, because it was a more central free kick. He's just tried to sort of curl it in with a little bit of softness, and then Fast has to try and get the power on the header, which he ultimately can't because he's being challenged against, and Sarkic actually just gathers it neatly.
Early goal in the 8 o'clock kickoff on Teesside. Middlesbrough leading Hull by a goal to nil. Their top scorer, Emmanuel Latilath, with his 7th goal of the season for Borough, who, like their opponents coming into the game, have lost 2 on the bounce. But they lead tonight, Middlesbrough 1, Hull 0. Good ball out towards Fatawu on the right-hand side of the penalty area. Just trying to drop his shoulder and get round Wallace. Now Wallace was able to steer it away. And it should be easily cleared up the left-hand touchline into the feet of George Honeyman. Honeyman doing well, turning it forward. What more chasing? A goalkeeper with great anticipation. Hermansen came out and swept up. Must admit, I thought he was offside. No VAR, of course, and the flag stayed down. It did look as though Watmore was offside. Enzo Maresca certainly thought so and is arguing with fourth official Scott Oldham about it. But there was no flag, and they got it again. Norton Cuffy definitely onside as the ball is played in towards that near post area. Come back for Honeyman. Takes a touch, can't get himself into a shooting position. Might be able to set up Saville. Daka's back defending. Saville just caught him. And the free kick goes Leicester's way on the edge of the D. They've taken it quickly. They tried to get Fatawu forward. He's been blocked off. And it's another free kick to Leicester, this one nearer halfway. We're just past the midway stage of the first half on Talksport 2. And it's Leicester 0, Millwall 1.
Yeah, they're going for the full set. Wallace has now got himself a yellow card. So that leaves just Leonard and Norton Cuffy without one. It was really clever from Fatawu. Great little bit of improvisation, little nutmeg on Wallace. And he just dragged him back. But they've been a real threat, actually, Millwall. And I think that'll really please Joe Edwards. It's that bravery when you have the ball that you're going to have to commit players forward. You might leave yourself open, but it gives you a chance then of creating something, and that's a couple of chances now they've created from good positions.
Murray Wallace in the book. He was actually the last Millwall player to be sent off in a league game. The ball played forward over Dewsbury Hall's head, down towards Mavididi, left-hand side of the penalty area. Couple of step-overs, got past Norton Cuffy. Cross comes in, it's half cleared. Harry Winks will pick it up. He stands it up towards Daka. Really well headed away by Cooper. And then a chance for Duncan Watmore to try and bring it clear up the Millwall left, and he's done well. Really good ball retention. Saville. It's a good press from Leicester. Just forced Leonard to play it quickly ahead of Norton Cuffy, who in the end is forced to concede a throw. Leicester did very well out of possession there.
Yeah, they did. That is a feature of their game. It's why defensively they've been so good, actually, is because they don't let the opposition really settle on the ball. The forward players are hard-working and intelligent in the way that they press as soon as they've lost the ball. But again, Duncan Watmore is a real outlet for Millwall. Great ball carrier. And especially with Ricardo Pereira out of that position, as soon as he gets it, Watmore, he looks to drive into that open space. So Cody maybe just needs to go across to that right-hand side a little bit more when Millwall have the ball.
25 minutes in. And the high-flying Foxes still trailing the lowly Lions. From Tom Bradshaw's goal 15 minutes ago. A couple of other Champions League goals to tell you about. Atletico Madrid leading Lazio 1-0. Antoine Griezmann's 13th of the season. They're already through. They win the group if they get a positive result tonight against Lazio and they lead 1-0. Porto leads Shakhtar by a goal to nil. They're not through yet, but they will qualify if they avoid defeat. And they lead with Galeno's goal. Still 0-0 in Newcastle's game and the other game in that group, Dortmund against PSG. 1-0 to Millwall here. Leicester looking for a response. Fatawu chasing a ball that was overhit down the inside right channel. And it goes out of play for a goal kick. But defensively, Millwall have been really sound so far. It's been an impressive performance from Joe Edwards' men.
Yeah, I mean, a feature of playing Leicester is you have to be so concentrated throughout the whole game, because that all they're waiting for is one of you to switch off in that back line. They haven't so far. They've kept a very, very good high line, almost tried to tempt Leicester into that pass, actually, that Ndidi just tried to make, but overhit it. But that's where the space is. If they can make those runs in behind Leicester, there's so much space there. I'm really yet to see Mavididi or Fatawu make that run inside the fullback, or even Dewsbury Hall and Ndidi make a run beyond Daka, who probably needs a little bit of help with the three centre backs all around him.
A possession so far 76-24 in Leicester's favour, but Millwall have had 75% of the attempts, and of course the only one that's gone in. Honeyman laying it back for Leonard. Leonard's ball forward hit about fast, but breaks Saville's way. Saville can find Harding. Wes Harding had the opportunity to bring it forward over halfway. He's asked a lot of Duncan Watmore with that ball forward. I mean, he's quick, but he's not as quick as that. And Leicester can work it safely back for Hermansen. He will play it out of the penalty area for Winks. And now Ricardo Pereira can bring it forward again for Leicester, who continue to trail.
They do. Honeyman's got an important role, a key role in the side. He's trying to just do that work in between Ricardo Pereira and Winks. You know, a key to Leicester's play is Ricardo going in and making those two deep line midfield players that can get on the ball and turn. And Honeyman, who's got just so much energy and work ethic, is doing that role very, very well, and just stopping Winks getting on the ball, who's so influential for Leicester.
Leonard clears, fast returns. Harry Winks able to help it on. Daka claiming he was pulled back as he tried to protect the ball. And Cooper was the Millwall defender involved. Campbell ends up on the deck for Millwall. The ball goes out of play and it's a Leicester throw. Plymouth away at Queen's Park Rangers tonight, down to 10 men. Dan Scarr sent off. It's still 0-0. Fatawu coming in off the right flank. Plays it back for Cody. Cody to his left-hand side for Yannick Vestergaard. Wout Fast, the other centre-half, making his way forward. He's only 6 or 7 yards outside the penalty area when he tries a little give and go with Dewsbury Hall. Couldn't squeeze it quite back through to him. The mustachioed midfielder goes out of play for a throw, which Mavididi has taken quickly. Fast for Winks. Wilfred Ndidi gave Daka no chance. Cooper could clear. Now Honeyman flicking it forward. Winks has steered it back into the danger area. It was a good run forward from Watmore, helped on by Campbell. Bradshaw back to him. Now out towards Duncan Watmore. Right-hand side of the area. He lets fly. It's deflected away. Hits Vestergaard and goes out for a corner.
Yeah, they've been really good at that, because Leicester are exposed when they do lose the ball, because they allow Ricardo Pereira to go, and if they bypass him, it can be 3 against 3 as it was there. They worked it really well into Bradshaw and then into Watmore. He was a little bit greedy. I think it was the right option in the end. There wasn't an easy pass to a teammate, and it opened up for him to strike, and he just hit it against the back of Vestergaard's calves and out for a corner where, again, they can be a threat.
We're half an hour in. And the Lions looking to double their advantage. Plenty of movement in towards the near post. It's hit very deep for Cooper. Cooper heading it back towards the edge of the penalty area, but it didn't get to Campbell. Half cleared. Norton Cuffey can pick it up. First touch not the best. He had loads of time to rescue it. And then his cross also too deep. And that's easily picked up by Hermansen. The game in the Scottish Championship tonight. Struggling Arbroath. Lost 7 in a row. They're 1-1 at home to Wraith, who are unbeaten in 11. Now, Wraith taking the lead. Arbroath have just equalised from the penalty spot with Jermaine Hilton, their joint top scorer. It's his 6th of the campaign. 1-1 there, 1-0 to Millwall here at Leicester. Now, if it stays that way, the Foxes will be 2 points behind Ipswich, who've got 51. Leicester 49 at the moment. Leeds, after their defeat to Sunderland yesterday, 41. And then Southampton, 38. But with a game in hand, the Saints in action away at Coventry tonight. That's currently 0-0. So Southampton up to 39 as things stand, but still 10 adrift of Leicester, even if the Foxes were to lose this. Here's Fast finding Dewsbury Hall. Back for Wout Fast again. Everybody, apart from Hermansen, inside the half of the field that Millwall are defending. Fatawu doing well, getting the better of Murray Wallace. Checks back onto his left foot, gets himself into a shooting position, took a deflection, which spun it into the side, netting past the diving Sarkic, and out of play for Leicester's first corner.
Oh, he's been excellent, hasn't he? The young man on the right-hand side, Fatawu, brilliant take with his left foot, and you could just tell Wallace knew he couldn't challenge him because he's on a yellow card. And then he jinks inside onto that left foot, takes the strike on, takes the deflection, and he wins a corner.
Yeah, he's a good player. The young Ghanaian on loan from Sporting Lisbon, still only 19. In comes the corner for Daka, didn't get hold of it. That's a really good chance for Leicester, the best they've had. It came in towards the right-hand side of the penalty area. Trajectory in towards the penalty spots. Daka's made the run to get on Mavadidi's delivery. Nobody's picked him up. And he scuffed it with his right foot behind his left, and it goes out of play for a goal kick.
Oh, it is the classic. We've seen it down the years, haven't we? The Anderton-Sheringham corner. Anderton playing that in. Sheringham peeling from the back post all the way around. Everyone drags everyone in towards the goal. It leaves it open for Sheringham to score. Sadly, it was Mavadidi and Daka, and it went horribly wrong because Daka, it ended up hitting his heel. He's just trying to side foot that in towards the goal, hits his heel, and just goes horribly, horribly wide. It's a great chance.
So it remains 1-0 to Millwall. Sheffield Wednesday have equalised at Norwich with a goal from Bailey Tai Kadamatri. Norwich 1, Sheffield Wednesday 1. Here's Fast. Inside the centre circle, Ricardo Pereira. Ndidi making a run ahead of him. Wilfred Ndidi just playing the way that he was facing. Back for Cody. Cody, who was so used to seeing his excellent array of diagonal passing, it just gave Norton Cuffey a chance. He's a tall man for a fullback, Brooke Norton Cuffey, and he headed it away easily from Mavadidi. Out of play for a throw that Leicester have taken quickly. The Vestergaard across to Cody. 12 to go to half-time, and Millwall still lead. Good run down the right-hand side of the area from Wilfred Ndidi this time. Cross towards the far post. It'll break for Mavadidi. Awkward for him to control as it sat up sharply and hit his chest. And Norton Cuffey used that to be able to whack it away right-footed and out of play for a throw. Fast taking that quickly. Goes back for Yannick Vestergaard. Cody will play it forward. And then get it back again from Wilfred Ndidi.
Starting to have more and more influence, isn't he? Fatu on the game. Cut inside onto his left foot, reverse pass all the way down the line for Ndidi, who's starting to make runs from that midfield area, and he needs to. That's the way you've got to combat a high line, is with that midfield runner.
They just made another one there, but the pass wasn't forthcoming. He's waiting into the area here and spoons it over the bar. Fatawu breaking again down the right-hand side. Pulled back for Ndidi, who made a run and then stopped, and the back line just carried on going, so he had a yard of space. But he got his right foot underneath it, scooped it over the bar, unable to score what would have been his 5th of the season.
Oh, Wallace is having a torrid evening now against Fatawu. Just played out towards Fatawu. He just beat him for pace. He just pushed it down the line, beat Wallace for pace, got his head up, saw that clever run that you mentioned there, that whole the run that had just been held by Ndidi, pulled it back, just needs the final bit of quality, composure, and it wasn't. He leaned back, he scooped it over like a shovel foot, over the top of the bar. And he's shown better quality than that this season, indeed.
Lions try and bring it forward. The referee has halted play. I think he thought he saw a handball from Bradshaw. Leicester take the free kick quickly. Championship scores like this: Cardiff 0, Birmingham 0, Coventry 0, Southampton 0, Leicester 0, Millwall 1 here, Norwich 1, Sheffield Wednesday 1, QPR 0, 10-man Plymouth 0, and in the 8 o'clock kickoff, Middlesbrough lead Hull by a goal to 0. Leicester bringing it forward down the right flank. That's the area that they tend to gravitate their attacking down. And they've got another corner. They want a penalty, the Leicester players and fans. And Didi racing across to the referee. They thought that Fatawu was fouled. It was just a heavy challenge that won the ball, and it's gone out of play for a corner.
Oh, this is close. This is really close. He's taken a big chance, Wes Harding. Not only is he on a yellow card, but Fatawu with a great bit of skill, and it's a penalty. It's as simple as that. He just thinks he's going to get there. Fatawu actually, just pokes it out of play. He's not going to get it, but he gets there first. And Harding doesn't. It was a difficult angle for the referee as Cody gets a yellow card for what he must have said to the referee. But Cody probably had a great angle of it. And I don't think Keith Stroud had a good angle and probably felt that Harding got a touch and he didn't. It was brilliant from Fatawu.
None of the Millwall players were complaining that a corner's been given instead of the goal kick that it might have been. Ball swung in, Bradshaw heads it away. Leicester players again appealing, fast racing towards the referee with his arms outstretched. Millwall have been able to get the ball away. Leicester win it back inside the centre circle, and they get it back to the goalkeeper.
Not easy for the referee, that decision,
not at all.
No, not at all. I mean, obviously, thankfully no VAR in the Championship, because that, obviously for Leicester it would be good because they would have a penalty now. But for the referee to make that decision when Fatawu gets the tiniest of touches away from Harding, and it looks as if where the ball travels that Harding has made a good challenge, so difficult for the referee.
Yeah, absolutely, because it was the touch from Fatawu that would have deceived the referee. He would have seen the movement on the ball. It's changed trajectory, and so he assumes the defender's made it. It's a fair challenge, gives the corner, but it should have been a penalty. That should be handball. It is. Honeyman heading it straight onto the arm of Campbell, and it's a free kick in a really good position for Leicester, plumb dead centre, about 10 yards outside the penalty area. Leicester have a player down injured, and Fatawu just being helped back to his feet. It's not going to need any treatment. Well, this is just about position A. Maybe want slightly more angle on this, I suppose. 3 or 4 yards to the left or right, because it is very central. We're just seeing another replay, Dean, of the penalty incident. Harding sliding in. He's not got the ball. He's so fortunate.
No, it's a brilliant bit of skill. A little flip-flap from Fatawu to take him away from Harding. The real difficult part of this for the referee is that the touch that Fatawu gets is directly in line with where Harding would have kicked it when he's made the challenge, and that's the difficulty for the referee. If that ball properly changes direction, I think it makes the decision a lot easier. So I certainly don't blame the referee for that. It's such a difficult one to call.
Yep, absolutely.
Vestergaard is going to take this, is he?
There's not going to be any panache. This is going to be pace and power if indeed it is Vestergaard, who runs up towards the ball, smacks it right-footed, and Sarkic can make a save. Actually, there wasn't enough pace or power. He just tried the little loopy one over the wall. It was creeping into the bottom left-hand corner, but Sarkic had plenty of time to shuffle across, get down behind his wall and make the save.
This is magnificent from Vestergaard. You're right. He looks as if he's going to go up and just thump it. And he goes up with a little knuckleball, Ronaldo-style technique up and over the wall.
Oh, hang on. I've got Ronaldo's lawyers on. They've asked me to point out that was not Ronaldo style.
I'm sure he had his legs wide and he'd done the big chest puff, Vestergaard, and then the straight run up, the knuckleball technique.
And whether there would have been a Sue celebration, we will never know.
It wasn't bad, you know. It was actually decent from Vestergaard, just without the power.
And Sarkic making a relatively comfortable save. His clean sheet still intact. He's had a couple since he's moved to Millwall from Wolves. He returned to the side on Saturday after 3 months out. The first choice keeper, the Montenegrin international. And here's Vestergaard again for Leicester. 5 to go to half-time. As Leicester 0, Millwall 1. Foxes irate that they didn't get a penalty, which we felt that they deserved. Vestergaard down towards Fars. And Fars will be able to bring it forward. Plenty of credit due to Millwall. This, I'm sure, their best performance under Joe Edwards so far. And that's notwithstanding that they won one of the games that they played under him 4-0. They've been excellent tonight. So resilient. But there have been a few signs in the last 5 or 6 minutes that they're beginning to creak defensively. No way through for the Foxes yet. It's the Millwall fans that you can hear. Vestergaard down towards Fars. 4 to go to half-time here on Talksport 2. Referee takes evasive action for a fast ball play to the right for Ricardo Pereira. Cody's invited forward. He goes out towards Fatawu on the right. The Ghanaian clipping it in. Left-footed Dewsbury Hall attacking it. Lennon heads it high up in the air. Bounces awkwardly for Daka and Cooper. Daka pokes it up in the air again. It's half cleared. Fatawu will pick it up. Right-hand side of the area. Tried a no-look ball down towards Ndidi. Wallace gets it away. Cody can pick it up on the right-hand touchline and lay it back for Vestergaard. Vestergaard bringing it forward again here for Leicester, and now finding Harry Winks.
Again, Fatu, I've been so impressed. He's picked the right option, when to drive at the fullback, when to just jink inside and play that ball in. It was a really dangerous ball. Keenan Dewsbury Hall, as he has done all season, a bit like Ndidi when it's on the opposite side, getting in the box. So important that you go and join your centre forward and just try and outnumber the opposition.
Cody goes back for Vestergaard. Vestergaard getting it forward. Ricardo Pereira back to the tall Danish defender who's had extraordinary renaissance under Enzo Maresca, having been surplus to requirements here last season. Leonard clears, picked up by Fars. Honeyman tried to win it back. Ricardo Pereira very quickly got in between Honeyman and the ball to win it back for Leicester. Possession still in the mid-70s. But still the scoreline remains 1-0 to Millwall. Back for Cody. Cody 20 yards outside the penalty area. Wout Fars has it. Fars down towards Mavididi. Former Arsenal trainee. Taking on Norton Cuffy. Left-footed ball in towards the near post, but Sarkic got his angles right, can make a collapsing save onto the ball, and he'll be in no hurry to get it upfield. 2 to go to half-time. It's Leicester 0, Millwall 1. Here's Dean Ashton.
They've just dropped deeper, haven't they? It's still condensed from Millwall, but they had a higher line early on in the game. They're dropping deeper and deeper, and now the edge of the box is basically becoming their line for the defence, and it means there is that space. If they switch it quickly, Leicester, that's where the space is for their two wide players who have both been decent, Fatawu in particular.
Still plenty of time for the Foxes to get back on level terms before the break. Dewsbury Hall. Good little 1-2. And gives him the opportunity to try and take on Ryan Leonard. And Leonard will get to the right-hand touchline and be able to get it away. He goes past Vestergaard and all the way back to his goalkeeper, Hermansen. Hermansen actually leaving it for Vestergaard to play. And then Cody will knock it forward. 90 seconds to go to half-time. A night that's seen very few goals in the Championship so far. The most significant one here, scored by Tom Bradshaw 10 minutes in. And the Lions have used it as a very solid platform to build what will be a very impressive away result if they can pull it off. Harry Winks finding Ndidi. Ricardo Pereira. Daka trying to take it on, but couldn't get past Cooper. He ended up going down inside the penalty area. I'm sure that was of his own volition. Now, they should have had a penalty earlier. I don't think they should have had one for that. Ricardo Pereira knocking it down. Fatawu will chase. Hooks his right foot around. He's done well. Daka attacking it, but Sarkic came out and claimed it.
Yeah, again, good defensive play from Cooper. It wasn't a foul at all. Daka just threw himself, really tried to make a foul out of nothing. And then again, that pace with Fatawu against Wallace down the right-hand side. He got there. But again, good goalkeeping. Made sure he was alert, came out, collected, and his team can reset.
Sarkic getting it forward upfield. Mavididi heading it back to Fars. Fars with the ball forward, and Daka trying to make a quick run and spin round the back of Cooper, who stood his ground no more than that. Daka fell to the ground, The loose ball goes all the way through towards Sarkic. Now the fourth official with numbers ball in hand. How many extra minutes will be prescribed? Just the one. Here's Wilfred Ndidi for Leicester in a much deeper position this time, finding Vestergaard. Still time for the Foxes to launch one last attack to find an equaliser before the break. Mavididi trying to knock it past Norton Cuffy, and it goes out of play for a throw. In the first half of games this season, they've scored 14 and conceded 7, Leicester. In the second half, they've scored 24 and conceded only 6. They are a side because of the strength in depth that they've got in their squad, really, because of the amount of possession they have in games. They do tend to come on stronger late in games. You're going to have to here, as Leonard takes the throw, fast heads it away, and it goes out of play for a throw, and this will be the last action of the first half. Shakhtar have just equalised at Porto in the Champions League. 1-1 there with Sikhan's goal. Campbell, on loan from Luton, playing it forward. Vestergaard heads it away. Leonard back towards Harding. Harding chests it down, right-footed up and under. Vestergaard got caught by Bradshaw, and the free kick goes Leicester's way. A hand of apology from Bradshaw after the hand in the face, which was accidental. Winks has got the ball at his feet. Referee looks at his watch, and that will be half-time. Now Leicester with work to do. Big round of applause from the travelling Lions fans away to our left-hand side after the first 45-minute display that they've offered. Leicester have been good, not exceptional. They've been good. They should have had a penalty, so they'll feel that they at least deserve to be on level terms. They've had all the possession, haven't really done as much with it as Enzo Maresca would like, and the half-time score is 1-0 to Millwall. Yeah, I think in terms of Millwall's tactical start to the game, really impressed with how condensed they made the pitch without dropping too deep, playing that high line, tempting Leicester to try and play that ball over the top, which they didn't really do to start with. It was a brilliant break, a fantastic header from Bradshaw to give them the lead, and they created a few other chances. Leicester have really come on strong though, and what they'll do is, they've been in this position many times already this season, Leicester, when teams have played this way, is they'll just keep going and look to tire the opposition. And like you said about second half displays, the concentration levels, the fatigue that'll set in for the Millwall players, can they continue in this way in the second half? They have created the chances, the penalty and the 2 chances for Daka and Ndidi. They should be level probably with those opportunities. But I think Joe Edwards will be so pleased with his side and executing what I'm sure they've talked about in the last few days, the way they have done. He will be concerned, though. He'll be concerned that the tide was changing over the last 15 minutes with those chances, with the penalty that could easily have been given against his side. So what does he need to do to try and stick his finger in the dike here? I think it's difficult. I think if it... he's got McNamara, he's got Hutchinson on his bench that he could bring on, because you just worry with the yellow cards to Harding, Wallace and maybe even Cooper, with Leicester coming on, especially Wallace, because Fatu has been so good on that side. You wouldn't want then to go down to 10 men. You'd want to keep 11 on the pitch and give yourself the best opportunity. So I'm sure that's something he'll have in the back of his mind, but just not to drop too deep. They were very good at keeping sort of midway through their own half. They dropped towards their own penalty area towards the end of the game, and if they do that, you'd expect eventually Leicester to hurt you. There's been a big goal in the Champions League. Newcastle leading Milan by a goal to nil. Joe Linton has scored that. The other game in the group is still 0-0. So Newcastle leading 1-0. They qualify if they win, and PSG don't. And at the moment, that is the scenario that would come to pass. Newcastle 1, Milan 0, Dortmund 0, PSG 0. Newcastle second in the group as things stand right now after Joe Linton's goal, his third of the season, has given them the lead. Now, if you want to be kept up to date with all of the action from St James's Park, just if you've got the Talksport app, it's very easy just to swipe left or swipe right between Talksport and Talksport 2. If you haven't got the app, it's available in all the usual places, but it will give you the opportunity to keep you up to date with everything that is happening, all the reports of the goals as they go in, all the action from St James's Park as it happens. But Newcastle leading Milan by a goal to nil. Late goal in the first half as well in South Wales. where Bacuna has scored for Birmingham, who lead at Cardiff. It's Cardiff 0, Birmingham 1 at half-time with Juninho Bacuna's goal as Wayne Rooney looks for just a second win in 10. He promised his side would go back to basics. They've lost their last 8 in a row away from home, but they lead at Cardiff at half-time. We've got the second half to come from the King Power Stadium. We'll bring you all the half-time details from around the country and Europe next. But here, at the break, it is Leicester 0, Millwall 1.
Talksport 2, official broadcast partner of the Premier League and the EFL.
Kick off your Sunday morning with a weekend sports breakfast on Talksport with goals. The free football pull-out with the Sun.
Scores!
Lace up your boots with the nation's brightest sports breakfast, featuring insider news, big match previews, and expert analysis from Tony Cascarino and Natalie Sawyer.
Oh, it's absolutely magnificent!
Get fully loaded for football with a weekend sports breakfast, Sunday morning from 6 on Talksport with goals. The essential free football pull-out with the Sun every Saturday, Sunday and Monday.
This
Christmas, eh? All about sharing, isn't it? But to be honest, some things I just don't want to share. Like the packed car park, along with everyone else who left their Christmas shopping a little bit, well, last minute. And the TV remote on Christmas Day, when everyone wants to watch something different. These What's It's Giants, on the other hand, made for sharing. Go on, help yourself. Walkers, actually made for sharing.
Make this Christmas extra special by getting them an M&S gift card. With an M&S gift card, they can choose from award-winning beauty, the softest cashmere, or a gourmet hamper, whatever they love. So to the gingerbread house builders, kids costume designers, and charade champions, this is your year to spend time on the things you love. Shop gift cards in-store, online, or on the M&S app.
This Christmas, why not give someone the gold scratch card?
You know what's great is a last-minute gift.
Yeah.
Scratch cards.
We've got a tradition. We hide them in the crackers that we've made. So we put a scratch card in each of those.
Oh, wicked.
Do you scratch it all off at once, or do you do like section by section
bit by bit
to build up the tension?
Yeah.
Sort of like, ooh, next scratch. Ooh. It's such a great gift.
Yeah, it's fun.
Gift the gold scratch card with the National Lottery. Please gift responsibly. Rules and procedures apply. Person must be 18 or over.
'Twas the hour before lunchtime, and with a great rumble, you noticed a stirring deep down in your tumble. 'Twas a hunger one could not easily satisfy, till appeared Subway's VI Brie to capture your eye. On caramelised onion, on rasher of bacon, on gooey brie cheese that you'd love to partake in, then toast it all up in a bun, nice and tight. Happy lunching to all, and to all a good bite.
Try the limited edition hot and cheesy VI Brie sub melt from the Subway series menu.
I love Christmas party food, and now Waitrose is offering 3 packs of chilled Christmas party food for the price of 2. Pick up some of those gorgeous smoked salmon eclairs, or popcorn feta with hot honey, or try paneer fries, or even those sticky beef teriyaki skewers. There are lots to choose from. It's a hard choice. That's why your 3rd pack is on us. When the offer is this good, expect a little trouble deciding what to get. Waitrose, food to feel good about. Selected stores subject to availability. Prices may vary in Channel Islands, Little Waitrose and concessions. Cheapest item free, chilled items only.
Talksport Podcast League. Outspoken. The best of White and Jordan.
White versus Jordan. Now with added time.
Simon and I have a different sort of opinion on this, as we do on various things.
When the mics go live, the gloves come off.
That wasn't a proper fight. That was a tune-up. Oh, no. Come on.
Opinionated debate as combat sport.
And most of these teams have underachieved.
Outspoken.
Listen or download for free on the Talksport app.
My goodness, who could argue?
On your phone, on your smart speaker,
or from your favourite podcast portal.
EFL Live on Talksport 2.
Millwall played inside the penalty area and they've scored. What a start. It's a sensational goal. Tom Bradshaw's really struggled in front of goal this season. Just the one for him, but he's made up for that in sensational style. The travelling Lions fans away to our left-hand side jubilant. And it is Honeyman finding Bradshaw. Gets a shot in and it's side netting only.
Real chance. Really great pass from Honeyman.
In comes the corner for Daka. Didn't get hold of it. That's a really good chance for Leicester, the best they've had. They just made another one there, but the pass wasn't forthcoming. He's waiting edge of the area here and spoons it over the bar. But he got his right foot underneath it, scooped it over the bar, unable to score what would have been his 5th of the season. Referee looks at his watch, and that will be half-time. Now, Leicester with work to do. They've had all the possession, haven't really done as much with it as Enzo Maresca would like, and the half-time score is 1-0 to Millwall. So an interesting second half to come, and you can hear it in the company of me, Jim Bradford, and Dean Ashton in the second half here on Talksport 2. Let's bring you up to date with all of the scores elsewhere. In the Championship, half-time, Cardiff 0, Birmingham 1, Juninho Bacuna, Coventry 0, Southampton 0, Norwich 1, Sheffield Wednesday 1. Norwich took the lead there with Borja Sainz, but Bailey Tai Kadamatri equalising for Sheffield Wednesday. Norwich 1, Sheffield Wednesday 1. Wednesday looking for a third win in a row, which would be impressive after a run of only one win in 20 leading up to it. But that's not a scoreline that necessarily will thrill the Millwall supporters. 1-1 there. QPR 0, Plymouth 0 at half-time. Dan Scarr set off on 25 minutes for Argyle, who were well beaten here at the weekend. But that remains goalless between Queen's Park Rangers and Plymouth. And they're coming up to half-time on Teesside. Middlesbrough 1, Hull City 0, with the early goal that was scored by Emmanuel Latte-Lath. Half-time in the National League South. Hampton and Waterlooville struggling at the foot of the table. 0-0 at home to Hemel Hempstead. Half-time in the FA Cup. Stockport 0, Aldershot 0. That's an FA Cup second-round replay. Aldershot away to the side, who are top of League 2, but holding them 0-0 at half-time. The Scottish Championship, Arbroath 1, Wraith 1. These are scores in the Champions League coming up to half-time. Atletico Madrid 1, Lazio 0. They had a second. It's just been disallowed with a VAR check. Mosso's goal chalked off because of offside. But they lead 1-0 against Lazio. That will be enough for them to win the group. Celtic against Feyenoord, the other game in that group. Celtic lead it with a Palmer penalty. Celtic 1, Feyenoord 0. Palmer with his 7th goal of the season. They've only taken 1 point from 5 games in the Champions League. Out of Europe, irrespective of what happens tonight, but a chance to save face, and they lead the Dutch champions by a 1-0. Newcastle United 1, Milan 0. Joe Linton's goal at the moment would be enough to take Newcastle through. Is Dortmund 0, PSG 0, the other game in that group. Newcastle will go through on head-to-head above PSG as it stands. Earlier, Manchester City won 3-2 at Red Star Belgrade, and RB Leipzig beat Young Boys Bern by 2-1. Porto against Shakhtar Donetsk currently 1-1, and Royal Antwerp against Barcelona also 1-1. Porto through if they avoid defeat in that game. In fact, they've just taken the lead. Porto 2, Shakhtar 1. So that brings you up to date with all of the goals elsewhere. And earlier this evening, live here on Talksport 2, we brought you live Champions League action as Manchester City travelled to Serbia to take on Red Star Belgrade in the final group game of the campaign. Ian Danter and the former Manchester City manager Stuart Pearce on commentary duty. And this was how it played out.
Hamilton for Manchester City in the area, right-hand side. Gets a shot away and scores on his debut for Manchester City. What a moment for Micah Hamilton. Brilliant stuff from the youngster. Oh, lovely run into the area from Oscar Bob. It's 2-0. What a lovely, lovely goal. Oscar Bob now nets a Champions League goal after Michael Hamilton scored in the first half. The youngsters are running riot in Belgrade. It was Bakari setting Hwang away. Hwang scored. They've got a goal back, Red Star. They've had their moment in front of their home fans. City can't keep a clean sheet these days. Left-hand corner of the penalty area. Tries to wriggle inside 2 players. Was he pulled back? He was. Penalty kick. Big moment for Calvin Phillips. Waits 4 steps back from the ball. Becomes right-footed and scores. Sends the keeper the wrong way. A lovely moment for Calvin Phillips. Onto the 6-yard line and headed in. For 3-2, I think that's Katai who got his head on it. Super header from Alexander Katai. Job done then for Manchester City. They win by 3-2, topping this group with 18 points from a possible 18.
And only the second English team to get through a Champions League group campaign with a perfect record. The live football will keep going on tomorrow. Got live Europa League commentary for you on Talksport. Real Betis hosting Rangers, and we'll also keep you across all of the action going on elsewhere. West Ham finishing off their Europa League group campaign at home to Freiburg. And it isn't just live football on the Talksport network. We've also got live cricket for you tomorrow from 5:30. Live ball-by-ball commentary of the second T20 between England and the West Indies. England looking to get back to winning ways after the West Indies won the first T20 by 4 wickets. Talksport reporter Sam Ellard's our man on the ground, and he caught up with England bowler Adil Rashid.
Adil, I'm sure you would have Leicester have done it with a victory, but a special day for you, a couple of milestones. That must mean a lot to you as an England cricketer.
Yeah, obviously it means a lot. These milestones, 100 T20s, 100 wickets. So as you're playing this competition, as you're playing these international cricket, that's what you look forward to as well. These little milestones. It's just, for myself, it's a nice little achievement, but unfortunately we didn't get the victory today.
Why do you think that was? It started so well with the bat, then you did so well to get yourself back in the game. I said to Joss, it feels like a lot of stuff you're doing right in games, but maybe just the crucial moments it's slipping away from you. Is that fair? There's a lot of good stuff to like, despite some bad results.
Yeah, but that happens. We started off really well in the first 6 overs. In the middle, we probably got a bit slow, and then we finished decent. Obviously, in T20 cricket, sometimes you need to go from first over to 20 in batting wise, and to get them scores. And similar to in bowling as well. First over till the end, you need constant wickets going throughout the overs as well. So unfortunately, we didn't do it today. But I'm confident that over time, we'll definitely click and get them wins under our belts.
How much did you love bowling with Ryan Ahmed out there, and what have you made of working with him, being with him, and how special can this kid be?
No, definitely. I think he can be special. Like I say, he just needs to play cricket, but he's definitely got the talent. He's shown it now over a little while. He's played, and it's exciting as well. We're two different bowlers. He bowls his way, I bowl my way. But it's always nice to see, like I say, a youngster coming through, especially who's got that potential, and hopefully he's got that ability to be world class.
That's Talksport Sam Ellard chatting to Adil Rashid, and England next in action in the T20 series against the West Indies tomorrow from 5:30 on Talksport 2. Well, here in the East Midlands, Leicester back out for the second half, and 10 of the 11 that started the game for Millwall are back out as well. The one exception, Murray Wallace, is going to be replaced at half-time by Danny McNamara. Former England striker Dean Ashton alongside me. No surprise. You talked a couple of times about the way that Fatu was getting the better of Wallace, who was on a yellow card. So McNamara on for Wallace.
Yeah, I thought that would be the only thought in Joe Edwards' mind, and particularly down that side. Wallace had struggled, and it did feel as if, a red card was pretty inevitable. You would expect the way that Fatu was going past Wallace time and time again. So probably a really good decision, I think.
So Danny McNamara, who hasn't featured for 6 weeks, comes on. Now we're back underway. Leicester in all royal blue. Millwall in their change kit, white shirts, black shorts, and the Lions kicking from right to left in this second half. Vestergaard's got the ball. Goes back for his goalkeeper. Hermansen will control it. Laid down towards Cody. Connor Cody with an opportunity to bring it forward. Leicester lining up Hermansen in goal. Cody, Vestergaard and Farser back 3. Pereira and Winks. Then Ndidi and Dewsbury Hall. Fatu, Daka and Mavididi. A front 3, a 3-2-2-3 formation. Millwall going 5 at the back. Sarkic in goal. Norton, Cuffy, Leonard, Harding, Cooper, and now McNamara, that back 5. The Saville and Campbell in the centre of midfield. Honeyman and Watmore buzzing around Bradshaw up front. Now a chance inside the penalty area. Ricardo Pereira pulling it back. Shot on the turn, brilliantly saved by Sarkic. And Leicester with a sight of goal inside the opening seconds of the second half. Really good move. No surprise that Ricardo Pereira was involved. Laying it down on the left-hand side of the box for Wilfred Ndidi, who shot on the turn. Well saved by the diving Sarkic.
Yeah, it was a turnover of possession for Leicester, and they moved it quickly to Ricardo Pereira, who, instead of shooting, which I thought he probably should have done, he pulled it back. It was slightly behind Wilfred Ndidi, who then tried to turn and sort of dig it out from behind him. Didn't get the pace he wanted, but still a really good save from Sarkic to his right-hand side. But I just think they've tweaked that midfield area with Winks hold. It's more of a diamond in that midfield 4, with Dewsbury Hall going into a more of a 10 role, and Ndidi going as the left-hand side, and Ricardo Pereira as a right-hand sided midfield, probably just to try and get Dewsbury Hall on the ball.
And they'll push forward again and win a corner as Mavididi broke down the left-hand side of the box. They had 2 corners in the first half, 1 already in the opening couple of minutes of the second. Dewsbury Hall raced across to offer himself for the short one, but it is going to be played directly inside the penalty area by the look of it. Fatu waiting, wearing 18 on the edge of the penalty area. Vestergaard stands by the penalty spot. Cody is there as well. Harding's got his arms around Cody and Cooper around Vestergaard. Fast on the edge of the 6-yard box, being detailed by Saville. Plenty of pushing and shoving going on. Referee lets it all pass. And Millwall clear. Goes out towards Dewsbury Hall. Left-footed ball swung inside the penalty area. Keeper came to meet it, and it's bobbled over him and in. And Leicester are back on level terms. 3 minutes into the second half. Yannick Vestergaard, the man that peels away, taking the plaudits. Leicester with the equalising goal. Great start of the second half. 1-1.
He's always going to cause problems, isn't he? Yannick Vestergaard, surely. With that height, if he just gets himself into a good position, it's a delicious ball in, by the way, from Dewsbury Hall. And I think it's Patson Daka that's just in front of Vestergaard. Vestergaard doesn't know a lot about this. This hits his shoulder as he's being dragged by Cooper as well. Flicks off his shoulder. Sarkic has committed himself and got nowhere near it. It floats over the Millwall heads and drops in at the far post. Just the start Enzo Maresca wanted.
Well, he scored at Swansea. It's his only goal in Leicester colours prior to tonight. It's not one that he's necessarily going to put on the show reel, as he was turning off balance and the ball just struck his left shoulder, but looped up over the goalkeeper. Counts the same. 1-1 the scoreline, and it's taken Leicester only 3 minutes of the second period here on Talksport 2 to get themselves back on level terms. Half-time at St James's in the Champions League. All the details over on Talksport for you right now. Newcastle leading and qualifying as things stand right now. Joelinton's goal. And they lead Milan 1-0. Here it's 1-1 between Leicester and Millwall. Harry Winks putting his foot on the ball in the midfield. Pereira for Cody. Fatawu making his way forward. Chance for him to try and take on McNamara, but he's laid it back for Cody instead. Winks has got it now. Siphoning it expertly between the lines. Pereira trying to do likewise as Daka made the run. Then Pereira wins it back. Good turnover of possession. Makes his way towards the edge of the penalty area. Trying to thread it through. Cooper nearly got the ball caught between his feet, but was able to salvage things and work it back for his goalkeeper. And then as Millwall whack it upfield, Cody can mop up and go back for Hermansen. But it feels as though Leicester really turning the screw now. Such a good record in the second half of games, as we were detailing earlier. And they've already scored since half-time and hungry for more.
Well, it's just that tweak in midfield. I think it's made the difference so far. Millwall haven't got to grips with exactly where those 4 midfield players are playing, and it's meaning that Winks is starting to get on it. And Ndidi, Ricardo Pereira, even Dewsbury Hall. What Joe Edwards will be furious about when he watches the goal back is how Keenan Dewsbury Hall is allowed to just get the ball, take it forward 4 or 5 yards with nobody going anywhere near him to close him down. He gets his head up, and then he puts in that wicked delivery that makes it so difficult for his defence. He'll be furious that you haven't got out and closed him down. He's the one player you have to do that with.
Well, the last time the two sides met was in the League Cup a couple of seasons ago. Leicester winning that 2-0 with goals from Adamola Lookman and Kelechi Iheanacho. Iheanacho not fit, not involved tonight for Leicester. Jamie Vardy in the same boat. Why Daka is leading the line again for the Foxes. Millwall still without Brian and Denore as well, as the ball is played in here, and Daka makes it 2-1. And it's all about the quality of the cross. Daka's bit was easy. All he had to do was get a foot to it and side-foot it into the net from about a foot out. What a turnaround. 2 goals in the first 6 minutes of the second half. Leicester 2, Millwall 1, but what a cross.
Oh, unbelievable cross from Wilfred Ndidi. He's switched to that left-hand side of midfield, but again he's making those runs beyond Patson Daka, beyond the front line. It's Winks that finds him, Wilfred Ndidi. And he's learned from that earlier cross when Sarkic is so far over to that near post. This time he gets the height, flicks it up and over the top of Sarkic. Daka's there, he's got himself away from Cooper. He has got the easiest goal he will ever score. He's about a centimetre out. All he's got to do is let the ball hit him and end up in the back of the net. What a turnaround.
I genuinely think I might have scored that one.
Oh, you would?
92nd goal of 92nd goal of his career. And, as you say, almost certainly the easiest, certainly the one from closest range. Well, he made his first start under Maresca on Saturday and scored. He's made his second start under Maresca tonight and has scored. Only 5 goals in 53 games leading up to this week. But 2-2 for Patson Daka. And Leicester 2, Millwall 1 is the score. Coventry 1, Southampton 0. It's down the M69 from here. Haji Wright with his 6th of the season for the Sky Blues. Have only lost 1 out of 5. Saints unbeaten in 12. But it's Coventry 1, Southampton 0. And Norwich have taken the lead against Sheffield Wednesday again, with Ashley Barnes scoring 3 minutes into the second half. Norwich 2, Sheffield Wednesday 1. Leicester 2, Millwall 1 here on Talksport 2. Vestergaard on 48 and Daka on 52. Ball is back with Wout Vaas to Vestergaard. Play forward into feet of Harry Winks. Ricardo Pereira for Cody. Cody to Winks. Vestergaard will be able to bring it forward. It's all unravelled very quickly for Joe Edwards and the Lions, who lost their last 2 games away from home. They will suffer a 4th defeat in 5 if it stays this way, with only a 2-point advantage above the bottom 3 at the start of the night.
I think it'll say a lot already about the 2 managers. I think Maresca's tipped his hat to Joe Edwards and said, fair play that first half. You've got it absolutely spot on. But he's made a change. He's made a slight tweak. That's all it's been in that midfield area. And it's already led to 2 goals. And that's where Joe Edwards has got to either make a decision to change himself to combat that or not, or feel as if what he's been doing is the right thing. And that's the tactical challenges that you have as managers.
Now Dewsbury Hall. Ricardo Pereira. It's Daka again in towards Dewsbury Hall. Goes down inside the penalty area. Saville's going to be able to bring it away. He was then fouled by Daka. And it's a free kick to Millwall.
But it's incredible how they look so in control in that first half defensively, Millwall. All of a sudden, it looks like every Leicester player is free. It's easy for them to pass round. I know conceding goals means you lack a bit of confidence from there on out, but still, the change that Maresca's made has meant that Millwall are just not sure now of the positionings of the players.
Vestergaard. Now towards the Leicester left-hand side. The challenge was ill-conceived by Leonard. Mavididi is past him. He's inside the penalty area, faced up by Cooper. Ball in towards the near post as deflected away, goes out of play for a corner.
Yeah, I think Leonard's he's lucky. He's lucky actually that Mavididi stayed on his feet, because he would have then had a yellow card as he went diving in, trying to intercept. And Cooper in the end did well just to hold up Mavididi.
Leicester looking for a 3rd goal in this second half. Swung it towards Vestergaard again. Better contact. A sliced attempt on goal from Daka is cleared. Dewsbury Hall with a complete miss kick, which ended up being a sensational pass. Right-footed ball inside the box is headed away by Bradshaw. Everybody back behind the ball for Millwall. There's no real outball. Watmore tried to make one. Leicester have won it back. Fataru did well. Feeds it out towards the left-hand side of the area where Mavididi can play in Wilfred and Ndidi. Back from Mavididi to Harry Winks. Winks to Vaas. Curly-haired Belgian back out to the Leicester left for Keenan Dewsbury Hall. Winks back for Vestergaard and back for Vaas again. But just going back to the goals, you talked about the positioning of Sarkic. I just wonder whether you think that was a gamble that he had to take. It worked well for him in the first half as he cheated at the near post. But indeed he got the ball over him. So is that a goalkeeping error that's led to the second goal?
I would say so. I mean, obviously, because it ended up just being such a simple goal for Patson Daka. He's completely committed to that near post area that he cannot be beaten over the top of his head. And indeed, he's just clipped it up and over the top of him. And I talked about that in that first half. It was good goalkeeping in the first half because he was right ahead of the near post. He's got it wrong in this sense, unless Leicester have recognised that and said that, in which case it's clever from them.
Dewsbury Hall goes back for Wout Faes, and Yannick Vestergaard will be able to play it forward for Harry Winks. Leicester 2, Millwall 1. They've turned it around inside 4 minutes with goals from Vestergaard and Daka shortly after the resumption. Faes goes back for Yannick Vestergaard. Now rolled to his right-hand side for Connor Cody. Cody back for Winks. And Ndidi in the half space. Well, the movement's been so clever from Leicester with the adjustments that they made in the second half, and the Lions still haven't really got their collective heads around it yet. Who's picking up who and exactly how big the spaces should be between the elements of their midfield. Ricardo Pereira to Winks. Winks turning and sending it to his left. And Ndidi will help it further down the line for Mavididi. Faes making his way forward now. Cody's got it. Cody's 10 yards outside the box. Down towards Fatawu. Fatawu taking on the dark-haired McNamara. Good ball into a dangerous area, and it's only into the side netting. It was Mavididi that was coming in. The bounce was a little bit lively, got his head to it, and the angle was prohibitive. But another excellent Leicester move.
And the ball from Fatawu is absolutely sumptuous. It is so glorious. He just feeds it in with a little bit of pace on it. And the defenders, Cooper and Norton Cuffy, they don't want anything to do with it. They don't want to touch that towards their own goal. Mavididi at the back post. He's scared, is what he is. He's scared of headbutting the post. Really, if that was a Mick Harford, that would be ball, goal, forehead, post, and wouldn't care. Mavididi's just ducked out at the last second.
Not too many Mick Harfords around these days. Leicester make a change. A Cody off, and James Justin has come on to replace him. Justin has scored the winner against Sunderland here. A player who really struggled over the last 12-13 months or so with injury. He had a 9-month spell on the sidelines. Back to full fitness. His minutes still being managed a little bit, hence why Cody's come in a 3-game week to play an hour. But Justin on for the final half hour of this, with Leicester leading by 2-1. Now, since the turn of the century, 90 points has always been enough for promotion. Leicester currently on 52 as things stand, still with 25 games left to play. It's providing they hang on here. Millwall with a free kick, swung towards the edge of the penalty area. Vestergaard's cleared that. McNamara with a high up and under, headed away again by Dewsbury Hall. Honeyman will take it on inside the box. There's a collision inside that penalty area. Referee allows play to go on. Bradshaw's done well to win the seconds and has flicked it off Winks and out of play for a Millwall throw.
And I mean, look, it's scrappy, but I think that's what they've got to do. They've just got to win that second ball with the set plays, feed that back in, try and then get the ball wide, play that in. And again, it's going to be a long throw from Leonard.
Ryan Leonard, who made his name at Southend, actually just dropping this one short to George Saville. It's in his 4th spell with the club. High left-footed ball in from him, attacked by Cooper. First, a ball in, a second one as well. Watmore couldn't quite react quickly enough. Then a shot comes in from Leonard, hits Ndidi, and Millwall get their first corner since the early stages of the game.
Absolutely perfect. Make it scrappy in there. Just let it bobble around, and then hopefully it's then going to fall for a white shirt, a white Millwall shirt, as it does. Falls for Leonard, who had taken that short throw in. It was a poor effort, really. He didn't really get his foot through it, and indeed he just turned his back instead of just facing it up.
Left-footed in, swinging corner. Plenty of whip on it, looking for Cooper. Fast got his head to it. Headed clear on the edge of the box. Counter-attack could be on. Leonard has won that, not fairly. He was claiming that he took the ball. He certainly took a part of Harry Winks as well. It was a good free kick to give away because the counter-attack was on 4 against 3. And it is a free kick and no yellow card.
No, you were right in what you said. He got the ball, didn't he? It was a good challenge. I think he's really, really unlucky, actually, to give that free kick away.
Scores in the Championship with an hour played in most games. Cardiff 0, Birmingham 1, Coventry 1, Southampton 0. 2-1 to Leicester here. 2-1 to Norwich at home to Sheffield Wednesday. Queen's Park Rangers still being held by the 10 men of Plymouth, 0-0. And that means that Millwall still have a 1-point advantage above the bottom 3. QPR would be halving it. And if they were to win tonight, then the Lions would only be outside the bottom 3 on goal difference, with Huddersfield dropping down into the relegation zone. The other game in the Championship, an 8 o'clock kickoff. Middlesbrough leading Hull 1-0. They played 4 minutes of the second half on Teesside. That early Manuel Latte-Lath goal, still the difference between the two sides. 62 played here in the East Midlands as Fatawu takes on McNamara and checks and then tries to beat him again. McNamara stood to his task well, but forced to slide in, has conceded the corner, which is Leicester's fifth.
Oh, he's a joy, isn't he? He is a joy to watch, Fatawu. He's just got that lovely little shimmy, that kind of Phil Foden shimmy where it just offsets the defender's balance and then he's away. He's got that pace as well.
Third corner of the second half, they've already had more than they did in the first. Left-footed in-swinging delivery is well headed away at the near post by George Honeyman. Dewsbury Hall. Left-footed ball back through the midfield from him. Ricardo Pereira to Harry Winks and straight back again. Fastest to his right, that's the pass that's played. Now it goes back for Ricardo once more. Possession up into the 80s for Leicester now. 80-20 over the game as a whole. Mavadidi. Back for Winks. Fast. Winks has played top-flight football throughout his career, has ripped it up at this level since he signed. What a good acquisition he has been. He makes it look so easy, has so much time whenever he's on the ball. In an excellent midfield alongside the man that Dean described earlier as the best player outside the Premier League, Keenan Dewsbury Hall. Fast has got Dewsbury Hall ahead of him and just will turn back the other way towards Yannick Vestergaard. It's 2-1 to Leicester.
It's amazing, though, how many players are so reluctant to maybe just drop down a level to rediscover themselves almost, their confidence, realise what a good player they actually are. They might have got down with having not played or been in and out of sides, not felt like a big part of the team, and you can see it with Winks. You can see how much he's enjoying this role with Leicester, how much he's regaining that confidence and quality that he's clearly got.
And you would imagine he'll be playing in the Premier League again next year. Leeds and Ipswich very much still in the chase. But just to reiterate the situation, if it stays this way, Leicester will have 52 points, Ipswich 51, and then Leeds third will have 41. So Leicester will have an 11-point cushion inside the top three. Only one side's ever won 26 games and not gone up from this division. That was Reading back in 2017. So if Leicester win tonight, realistically, they're only going to need to win 9 of the last 25 matches, take 41 points, and that's about top 6 form. So 9 wins, 12 draws from here, and they'll be absolutely fine, you would imagine. They've got a free kick, which is just outside the centre circle. There's a poor challenge by Cooper on Daka. Cooper is one of the 3 Millwall defenders that's been booked. One of those, Wallace, has now gone off. Cooper in very strongly there on Patson Daka. Has been sent off in this fixture before. Nothing more than a lecture for the Lions captain, who was only back in the side after suspension today. He picked up his 5th yellow card in his last appearance.
I think it was important that he got some of the ball there. Yes, he got Daka and caught him. It looked like a painful one, just on top of the shin. But he got some of the ball, Cooper, and I think that's probably what's just helped him in the eyes of the referee.
Final thoughts, incidentally, about statistical parallels with the Championship seasons of years gone by. No side has ever picked up 42 points from the first 20 games and not been promoted. Ever. And Leicester have got 49.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, all of these things you're saying is must be music to the Leicester City fans' ears, because you would expect what you've just said about the amount of wins needed in the games remaining, would feel pretty happy and comfortable about that. The way their team's playing as well.
Yeah, so that means that Leicester and Ipswich are already up. Okay, let's sort the playoffs out now. It's not anything like as simple as that, of course. Another free kick has been given Leicester's way. Ricardo Pereira, the player that was fouled. Watmore helped back to his feet by Fass. The Lions hanging in there, had that little flurry for a couple of minutes where they won a corner and there was a bit of a skirmish inside the penalty area from that, but haven't really had too many chances. They're going to make a double change in a moment in a bid to get themselves back into the game, and it's the front 2 from the weekend who are going to be coming on. Kevin Nisbet and Zian Fleming. So double change imminent for the Lions with a quarter of the game to go. You're with Talksport 2. Leicester 2, Millwall 1. Yannick Vestergaard down towards Wout Faes. Faes bringing it forward towards halfway. Borussia Dortmund 1, PSG 0. Karim Adeyemi is the man that has scored that goal. And that means that Newcastle have a little bit of a comfort zone. They still lead Milan 1-0. And that group as it stands right now, Dortmund 13, Newcastle 8, PSG 7, Milan 5. So Newcastle going through if they win and PSG don't, and PSG are losing. It's some achievement if they were to get out of that group and PSG didn't.
Ridiculous. But just the single goals in it at the moment.
Oh, plenty can change. Newcastle concede, the whole picture completely changes. But they lead 1-0 over on Talksport. Adrian Durham keeping up to date with everything as it happens. Here's Ricardo Pereira getting the ball inside the penalty area. It's 2-1 to Leicester with 22 minutes to go. And Tom Cannon's going to be coming on for the Foxes in a moment. So the next time the ball goes out of play, both sides will be making changes. Fast to his left-hand side for Dewsbury Hall. Cannon, you would imagine, will replace Daka. Really good player, Tom Cannon. Anybody that saw him on loan at Preston last season was hugely impressed. He did very well for Everton's age group teams as well. They're earning him the big money move here, but his Leicester career hasn't got going yet because of a back problem that he arrived here with. But he'll be coming on for his second appearance for the Foxes very shortly. Vestergaard's got the ball. Turns in possession inside his own half. Finding Faes. And Faes slows it right down to walking pace. He's trying to draw Watmore towards him before side-footing the ball back towards Vestergaard. And it's just a game of piggy in the middle at the moment, and obediently Bradshaw and Watmore doing the chasing, but they knew that Leicester were going to be able to play through them. Justin getting it forward. One back by Norton Cuffy. Faes across the cover. Just before Watmore could pick up possession, then Justin works it forward, trying to get Ndidi into play. Ndidi on the stretch, couldn't control it cleanly. One back though by Leicester again. Every time Millwall get it forward towards halfway, they only have it there for a split second before Leicester regain possession and come again, and that's why the possession's in the 80s.
Yeah, and look, it's excellent from Leicester, but they've lost their belief, Millwall. The shoulders are shrugged. Great little ball into Daka. Cooper's done well again, but put it out for a corner. But they've lost that belief. In that first half, every time they had a counter-attack, they looked like they believed that something could come of it. Second half, it looks different. I think that's why he's making the changes.
An equaliser for Southampton at Coventry. Samuel Edozie with that. Coventry 1, Southampton 1. Saints trying to extend their unbeaten streak to 13. The change will be made. Patson Daka coming off. He leaves the field as the potential match winner. Big ovation for him. Number of Leicester fans right in front of us standing to applaud as Daka makes way. And the Zambian striker coming off to be replaced by Tom Cannon, who finally made his debut against Plymouth on Saturday. He got nearly half an hour in that game. He'll get a little bit less than that tonight, but it's so good to see the youngster back. And if you'll pardon the pun, which is unintentional, Cannon fully firing again. And he makes his way inside the penalty area now. Millwall will save their double change for after they've defended this corner. 2-1 to Leicester with 71 gone on Talksport 2. Ball in towards the near post. It was the worst of the corners so far tonight. It was easily knocked away by McNamara. Dewsbury Hall comes back and heads it inside his own half for Ricardo Pereira. And he'll turn it back to Hermansen just to keep him interested, if anything else, because he's hardly seen it. He's been a spectator in this second half so far. Fast back to him again. 18 minutes for Leicester to see this out, but they're still confident of more.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're so far in control of this game. Even though it's 2-1, it feels like it's 4-1, but it's not. And they've got to be careful. They've done this a couple of times this season, Leicester, where they have been comfortable and they do have lots of the ball, but then they've conceded late on and given points away, and they don't want to be in that position. That third goal would be huge, I think, for them, just to really see off Millwall.
Harding has conceded another corner, so Millwall still haven't been able to make the change. Antwerp lead Barcelona again, 2-1. There's Victor Janssen former Tottenham man, their leading scorer this season, who's got that's his 12th of the campaign. Antwerp 2, Barcelona 1. And an equaliser for PSG at Dortmund as well. Newcastle still going through as things stand. In comes the corner, edge of the 6-yard box. Cooper got his head to it. Back in from Fatawu, headed away by Cooper again. Justin gets his foot on the ball. Plays back towards halfway. Dewsbury Hall runs round it. Passes it back for James Justin. Former Luton man and former England defender over on the left-hand touchline. Winks the deepest of the outfield players in blue. Just picking up possession, takes it towards the edge of the centre circle, drops his shoulder, comes back through the midfield. It's laid off by Ricardo Pereira, who's probably had more touches than anyone else tonight. Ball laid down the right-hand side. Fatawu caught from behind by McNamara. The referee said he played the ball as well. It's a heavy challenge. Fatawu, with an angry reaction, turns and looks at McNamara, and there are a few verbals going on. The referee clearly indicated that he thought he played the ball. Millwall will make the change, and the front two coming off. Watmore and Bradshaw being replaced by Fleming and Nisbet.
Yeah, they've offered very little, actually. Watmore, I thought, was excellent in the first half in terms of being that outlet. Bradshaw obviously taking his headed goal very, very well, but they've offered very little in this second half, and they need to get to grips, really, with the possession that Leicester have got in the main between Justin, Fass and Vestergaard.
Well, Nisbet's had a touch already as he received a misdirected ball through the Leicester midfield. Norton Cuffy strides forward down the Millwall right, but it's cleared. Picked up, though, by Saville, and the referee says it was a foul. A yellow card is shown. And it's Leonard who has received it. It was his challenge. Saville querying the decision with the referee. Well, it was Leonard that the referee pointed to as he went away, but it was definitely Saville with the foul.
It definitely was, unless they were just directly in line, but it was Saville that made the challenge, that's for sure. It's rightly a yellow card, stopping a counter-attack.
Yeah, it must have been Saville booked. It must have been. It just did appear as though the referee was pointing at Leonard, though, as he went away. But the fourth yellow card shown to a Millwall player tonight. 15 minutes to go. Atletico Madrid are going to be winning their Champions League group. They're 2-0 up now at home to Lazio. Samuel Lino scoring the second goal. Newcastle still lead 1-0. 1-1 between Dortmund and PSG. Newcastle going through on their head-to-head record as things stand right now. All the details over on Talksport. Here on Talksport 2. We'll bring you the climax of this. Leicester 2, Millwall 1. Possession now 83-17. But for 17% of the possession, Lions have had 7 shots. But Leicester working out where they were going wrong in the first half. Although we felt that they deserved to be behind at half-time. They certainly should have had a penalty, we felt. But the second half, the slight subtle changes in the midfield are seemingly going to win them the game.
Yeah, and when they do get into this position, they're horrible to play against because they keep the ball so well. You've got to carry a threat, which they did in the first half, Millwall. That has gone. Without that threat, it's very, very simple for Leicester City, but you've got to carry that threat on the break. And they'd be hoping, Joe Edwards, that Fleming and Nisbet can give them that edge now on that counter-attack.
It's Fass. Ricardo Pereira. Play down the right-hand touchline. Dennis Pratt is also going to be coming on in a moment. Ball laid back for Sarkic. The Millwall goalkeeper finds halfway, but he doesn't find a teammate. Nisbet, somersaulting from Hibs, urging the Millwall players to push forward. 5-3-2 for the Lions with a 3 diamond 3 for Leicester. Vestergaard to James Justin. Well, Justin came on to replace Cody. He came on the left of the 3 centre-halves and fast moved across to the right. Vestergaard just slowing things down again as Norwich take a 3-1 lead, and Newcastle's Champions League hopes have been hit with a Christian Pulisic equaliser on St James's Park. Newcastle 1, Milan 1. Pulisic with the goal. His 6th of the season. Newcastle, remember, only qualify if they win and PSG don't. But that equalising goal means that Newcastle will be playing Europa League football as things stand. Here's Dewsbury Hall for Leicester. Left-hand side of the box, pulled back towards Cannon. who will get a left-footed shot in, which is blocked by Harding on the edge of the 6. But comes out towards the edge of the penalty area where it is fired in. Ricardo Pereira making it 3-1 to Leicester. And there's a sense of reality now about the scoreline in terms of the utter domination we've seen in the game.
They were just waiting with the possession that they've had for Millwall to switch off. And it was down the left-hand side, and it was that man, Keenan Dewsbury Hall again, with a really intelligent run. In off the back of Ryan Leonard. Gets down to the byline, cuts it back for Cannon, who does well to swivel and shoot, but then when it falls for Ricardo Pereira, he gets so lucky. And actually, it comes off Wilfred Ndidi, who the goal will surely go down to. Ricardo Pereira with the shot. It hits Ndidi on the backside and goes past Sarkic for 3-1. How's your look?
Well, Cannon doing well to swivel on the edge of the penalty area. And yeah, it's hit Ndidi and deflects him past the goalkeeper. Pereira wheeling away, and he has been credited with the goal, but it is Wilfred Ndidi that will end up, I'm sure, as the man on the score sheet. Now another big ovation from the Leicester fans. This is for Keenan Dewsbury Hall as he leaves the field to be replaced by Dennis Pratt. Pratt coming on. He made his first appearance for 3 months on Saturday. He's missed a lot of the campaign with a back injury, but he's on and replaces Dewsbury Hall. Ryan Longman's going to be coming on for Millwall very shortly. We've got 11 minutes to go. It looks as though potentially Billy Mitchell will be arriving for the Lions, and that will be their final changes. 3-1 Leicester. Porto 3, Shakhtar Donetsk 1. Norwich 3, Sheffield Wednesday 1. The Canaries' leading scorer, Jonathan Rowe, has netted his 9th of the season, and the Canaries are going to be limbering up for the East Anglian derby at the weekend with a victory. Free kick taken here by Saville, who slipped as he fires it inside the penalty area. Chance to deliver, the ball is in, and Nisbet couldn't get the touch as it was flicked towards goal by Honeyman. It just came in behind Nisbet and was cleared with the goalkeeper beaten off his line. Pratt able to knock it out towards the Leicester left. Well, they haven't had too many undue alarms, the Foxes, particularly in the second half, but that was Millwall's best moment.
Oh, they won't have a better chance than that. No way will they have a better chance. And Leonard needs to do better. It's headed down by Cooper into his path. He's totally free. What he's got to do is, he's just got to cushion this to Nisbet. And he overhits it, and that's then when Honeyman stretches and gets it towards the goal with Wout Fast clearing it off the line. But if he just cushions that to Nisbet, he just heads it into an empty net. It's a massive chance.
Vestergaard. 4 for Harry Winks. We're into the final 10 minutes. Leicester, who were a goal down at half-time, lead by 3-1. Now they're going back top of the table, appointed by the Ipswich, who are in action against Norwich Saturday lunchtime. And you'll hear it on Talksport too. Fast. Going back to his goalkeeper. Hermansen rolling the studs of his right boot over the top of the ball. Sends the pass out towards Vestergaard, gets the return, then lays it forward here for Harry Winks. Play forward towards Yannick Vestergaard again. Millwall still waiting to make the change. Cooper comes across and heads it away. Brought back down under control there by George Saville. Norton Cuffey will try and bring it forward. Goes into the feet of Nisbet. Fleming waiting, peeling away to the left-hand side for Millwall, and Honeyman's done really well to find him. A good turn as well from Zian Fleming, and the Dutchman brought down by Faas, who will receive a yellow card.
Excellent play, wasn't it, from Fleming? Just saw Wout Fast on his left-hand side, swivel to his right, and he was away. Wout Fast just dragging him back.
So Millwall can make the double change now. George Honeyman, the first player to be replaced. Ryan Longman, on loan from Hull, is coming on to replace him. And a straight swap in the heart of the midfield will see Billy Mitchell replace Alan Campbell. Final changes made by the Lions. That's all 5 now. 8 minutes to go. And if they were to score one from this free kick. Well, you never know, it might just set up a nervy finale. The National League South, incidentally, Havant and Waterlooville, bottom of the table, lead Hemel Hempstead 1-0. In comes the free kick towards the edge of the 6-yard box. It's headed and easily claimed. Now Manson hardly had to move just to scoop the ball up into his hands. And it remains 3-1, 7 minutes to go. And Leicester, I'm sure, will believe that they're home and hosed already.
Yeah, I think so. They've been excellent in the second half. That change from Maresca at half-time just to go to a diamond midfield. It just scrambled the heads of the Millwall players and they never really recovered, to be honest. And then once they've got themselves in front, Leicester, they're so calm and composed on the ball. They've just ticked the time away.
Fatou, who would be high on many lists for the player of the match, I'm sure. Fast goes back to his goalkeeper. Play forward towards Vestergaard and back again. Now into the feet of Ricardo Pereira and back to the goalkeeper. Fox is next in action Monday night. They're away at Birmingham. And that one is also live right here on Talksport 2. Just down the road in the second city. Birmingham at home to Leicester. Live on Talksport 2 Monday night. Pratt trying to work the ball inside the penalty area. And it's swept away by the retreating Cooper after a fashion, but he's got it away from his goal. Out of play for another Leicester corner. The corner count almost in double figures now.
Yeah, looking slightly fatigued, aren't they? That Millwall back line, hell of a lot of work put in that first half, and they're just starting to flag a little bit. Cooper, Harding and Leonard just being pulled out of position with those midfield runners.
Corner taken short. Winks back to Fatou. Fatou inside the penalty area. Justin's touch was heavy. It's half cleared. Out as far as Harry Winks. Winks his ball in. Cleared. Justin trying his luck. Left-footed shot that cannoned away outside the penalty area. And again, the Lions will be able to clear. And then Norton Cuffey going up for it. Got caught by Ricardo Pereira. And the referee stops play immediately just to make sure he's all right. Because that looked a heavy fall and he went down holding his head.
Yeah, big intake of breath from everyone in the stadium when you just saw that challenge, and that clash was bound to happen. Both players with eyes on the ball, but never particularly nice to see. I think it was more the landing for Norton Cuffey rather than the contact when they went up for the header. Looked like he landed awkwardly on his shoulder.
An equaliser for Liam Delap of Hull at Middlesbrough in the 8 o'clock kick-off. This injury for Norton Cuffey, as he continues to receive treatment, will give us an opportunity to remind you what the scores are elsewhere. Cardiff 0, Birmingham 1, Coventry 1, Southampton 1, Norwich 3, Sheffield Wednesday 1, QPR 0, 10-man Plymouth 0, and 1-1 between Middlesbrough and Hull. National League South, Havant and Waterlooville 1, Hemel Hempstead 0. Aldershot only 3 minutes away from getting Stockport to extra time in the FA Cup. Stockport 0, Aldershot 0 in that replay. In the Scottish Championship late on, Arbroath 1, Wraith 1. The losing run might be coming to an end. In the Champions League, Newcastle 1, Milan 1, and Dortmund 1, PSG 1. So as things stand right now, and the details continue to come your way over on TalkSport, but Newcastle will finish third in the group. They need a goal there. If they can find it, then it would be they that would go through if the other game ends 1-1. Elsewhere in the Champions League, Antwerp continue to lead Barcelona by 2-1 with Vincent Janssen, the hero for the Belgians at the moment. Atletico Madrid 2, Lazio 0. Celtic still a goal up at home to Feyenoord. Porto 3, Shakhtar Donetsk 1. And you're up to date with all of the goals here on TalkSport 2. We're back underway. Norton Cuffey's back on the field. He's all right, able to continue. And Harry Winks in possession can sweep it over to the left-hand side for James Justin. Justin's got it. Back for Vestergaard. 3.5 minutes to go. And Leicester with a comfortable 3-1 lead. And they're going to have more points after 21 games than any other side in Championship history.
And you can see why. I mean, the quality, although that was a mistake, was a foul though by McNamara. But you can just sense with the quality that they've got. If you think of the players that are missing through injury as well this evening, but still the 11 that took the field, and even the substitutes, Dennis Pratt coming on as well, James Justin, Cannon, it's just oozes quality throughout the whole squad.
Yep, no Vardy, no Iheanacho, though neither of those are too far away, and no Yunus, no Callum Doyle at the back, no Casey McAteer, had such a good start to the season. It's some squad for this level. Here's Fas, bringing the ball forward, then turning, laying it back for Ricardo Pereira, who immediately gets a return from Yannick Vestergaard. Pereira again controlling it. But Vestergaard pokes it forward again. Now Pratt controlling it and finding his goalkeeper. Well, the Lions have got a big game at the weekend. They're at home to Huddersfield. And then after they go to Stoke, they've got QPR. So 2 huge home games coming up as far as Millwall are concerned. Win both of those, and there have been moments tonight where they've played really well. I mean, defensively in the first 25 minutes, half an hour tonight, they were outstanding. Win both of those, and the bottom of the table look very different. Ball chipped in from the left-hand side by Mavididi and easily claimed by Sarkic. From what you've seen tonight, bearing in mind that a late QPR goal will see Millwall only outside the bottom 3 on goal difference tonight, do you think that they're in severe relegation trouble?
I think with the lack of goals, it's a good break though for Millwall.
Fleming's got it and plays it to his left for McNamara. And McNamara again back towards the edge of the penalty area. Fleming clipping it in fast, can head it away.
I think with the lack of goals, that has to be a massive worry. I always thought Millwall would keep clean sheets defensively, which they haven't done, especially in recent weeks as well. So if you start getting it wrong at both ends of the pitch, you're going to struggle, aren't you? And they need to find some firepower, because you're right, in the first half you thought there's enough there. You can see there's enough quality on the break. They look dangerous, but can they finish the chances that they create? And that home form has to change drastically.
Champions League consolation for Shakhtar. I say consolation, still time to go. 17 minutes to go. They're 3-2 down away to Porto. But a big goal in the FA Cup at Edgeley Park. Stockport 0. Aldershot 1. Oliver Scott on 88 minutes for Tommy Witherington's Aldershot, who've had a fantastic run. They scored 7 away from home at Swindon in the last round. And they lead 1-0 away at League 2 leaders Stockport tonight with very little time to go. Here's Danny McNamara for Millwall, who trailed 3-1. We're about to go into stoppage time. Wes Harding. Forward towards George Saville. Saville poking it forward. McNamara's got it again. Fleming, the Dutchman, dropping deep. 90 minutes are up. We haven't seen how many extra minutes are going to be added. The fourth official comes forward now and shows us 6. Norton Cuffy. Back towards halfway for Cooper. To his left is Wes Harding. Harding coming forward for Millwall. Down to the left-hand touchline, George Saville will take over. McNamara showing for the ball in the midfield. Gets it. Drops it at the feet of Harding. More possession for Millwall in the latter stages of the game. Leicester happy just to protect what they've got, and it is a comfortable lead. 3-1 with 5.5 minutes of stoppage time remaining. And just a reminder, as things stand right now, both of the games in Newcastle's group in the Champions League are 1-1, and as a consequence, Newcastle will be going into the Europa League. But if they can find a late winner, then they've certainly got a great chance and would be going through if PSG couldn't reply in kind. 91 on the clock here on Talksport 2. Leicester 3, Millwall 1. And we'll be going to St James's Park as soon as this game finishes. You can hear what's going on there right now over on Talksport. Here's Fleming. Dutchman playing it out to the Millwall right. Norton Cuffy with a delivery which hit James Justin on the back, and that cannons out to the touchline. Norton Cuffy wins the seconds. Play back to him by Billy Mitchell. And now Norton Cuffy making a darting run inside the penalty area. Played the ball towards Leonard. Leonard doing his level best to be able to get past Justin, who's held him up. Leonard then trying to buy a corner or a throw, and it gets the former. And it's a corner which will be taken over on the right-hand touchline by Millwall. PSG have just scored at Dortmund. Dortmund 1, PSG 2. It's Kylian Mbappe, perhaps inevitably, who has scored the goal, his 19th goal of the season. And that means that Newcastle are that bit further away from the round of 16 of the Champions League. In comes the corner. And the goalkeeper is there. He spilt it under pressure from Nisbet. And the rebound is put in. And Millwall have one back with 3.5 minutes of stoppage time to go. It's Leicester 3, Millwall 2. And it might just be game on.
What a weird goal. Because none of the Leicester players moved at all. Nisbet is just on the goalkeeper, Hermansen. He doesn't really do anything. Hermansen tries to push him out the way and makes a right mess of it. He ends up just pushing Nisbet into the ball. So then it just falls, it hits Vestergaard, and then it's Nisbet and Wes Harding that stab it into the goal. I'm not quite sure. I'm sure it'll be Nisbet that'll claim it. That's for sure. But that just wasn't needed. What was Hermansen thinking?
So 3-2. With 3 minutes of stoppage time left to play. Now that PSG goal at Dortmund has been disallowed. The VAR has chalked it off. So it's still 1-1 there. And 1-1 in Newcastle's game. They've got 14 minutes to go at St James's Park. 2.5 minutes to go here. And it's Leicester 3, Millwall 2. Late winner for Raith in Scotland. Arbroath 1, Raith Rovers 2. A goal officially credited here to Kevin Nisbet. His 5th since his move from Hibs. Leicester have got it with Dennis Pratt. Pratt coming in off the right-hand touchline. 2.5 minutes of stoppage time to go. Fast is in support of Fatawu. Fatawu can't play it back. It's off Nisbet, goes out of play, and it's a throw that will be taken on the right-hand side by Ricardo Pereira. Pereira launching it inside the penalty area. Canada made a really good run. He's got support if he can lay it back. Harding made sure he couldn't. He got it away. And Didi in the heart of the midfield skies a clearance over the touchline and out of play for a throw that'll be taken on the Lions' left. 2 minutes to go. And if they can create a half chance, you never know what might happen. Harding, in his haste to get the ball upfield, nicked about 10 yards with the throw. Referee Keith Stroud has asked him to retreat to roughly where the ball went out of play. And he's done that. Then takes a throw, goes back for his goalkeeper. Sarkic getting it forward upfield. A little bit overhit, if anything. Longman going up for it, helped it on. Fast could dig it clear off the top of McNamara's head. Saville is in there. Leicester, a little bit frantic and fractious in the midfield, try and get it away. Brought back down by the Lions again with McNamara. 3-2 to Leicester with just over a minute to go. And Didi clearing his lines. Leonard getting it back to his goalkeeper, although not where his goalkeeper was. He had plenty of time to recover. Leonard has it again. Good pressure from the front here by Harry Winks. And he'll press the goalkeeper, but Sarkic clears over the halfway line. Brought down by Norton Cuffy. And towards Ryan Longman. Norton Cuffy continues his run. Justin goes back for his goalkeeper. And Hermansen will be able to clear towards halfway. Touch from Cannon, a good one. Lays it back for Winks. Winks out towards James Justin. 40 seconds remaining. 3-2 Leicester, who are going back to the top if they can hold the lead. Maresca looking agitated. Millwall win it back. Vestergaard gets it forward right-footed. Was he fouled? Yes, he was. And that should be that.
Yeah, I mean, look, it shouldn't be anywhere near as nervy for Leicester City as it is. It should have been comfortable with that sloppy goal that they've conceded. Just a nervy few minutes. Just got to keep it in the corner now. Jake Cooper's gone up for Millwall after that goal. He's playing centre forward.
Hull have scored their 2-1 up at Middlesbrough in the 8 o'clock kickoff. Seconds remaining here. Long ball out towards the Leicester right. Sails over Fatawu's head and out of play for a throw, which McNamara wants to take quickly, and Fatawu was doing everything he could to stop that happening. Throws taken by Harding. Little bit of time added on at the end of the 6 minutes because of the goal in stoppage time. It's a poor clearance from Sarkic. Still ends up somehow at the feet of Mitchell. Norton Cuffy on halfway. Can the Lions get it forward here? Fall into the feet of Mitchell again. Good turn from him. Out towards the right-hand side for Longman. But that's the full-time whistle. And Leicester City have hung on. Well, the scoreline makes it look close. The reality was very different. They were so much the better side. And yet the Lions hung in there, nicked one back in stoppage time through Kevin Nisbet, and just gave Enzo Maresca a few late scares. The bottom line is Leicester, much the better team, deserving the 3-2 victory, and they're back a point clear at the top of the table.
Yeah, I mean, look, they deserved it on the bulk of the game. They were once again excellent at the start of the second half. they come on so strong towards the end of games when teams start to tire. That little change from Maresca at half-time made all the difference, going to that diamond in midfield. And Didi, Dewsbury Hall, again, vitally important players for Leicester City. Made it nervy at the end. There's positives there for Joe Edwards and Millwall, but Leicester City, as I expected them to do, has responded to Ipswich and go top of the table again.
So the bottom line, Leicester 52 points at the top, Ipswich 51, Leeds 41, so they're a point clear. They're 11 points clear of Leeds in third. It's a really healthy advantage inside the automatic promotion spots. QPR still playing their game at home to Plymouth. That's still 0-0, and that means that as things stand right now, the Lions will have a 1 point advantage clear of the bottom three. They will stay 20th. Leicester next in action away at Birmingham City, and it's here at Talksport 2 Monday night, kicking off at 7:45. Now, for all the reaction to tonight's football, Sports Buzz coming up from 10 over on Talksport with Jason Cundy and Darren Ambrose. You can get your calls in 03717 223344 is the number to call. You can have your say on national radio. Coming up on Talksport 2 from 10, it's the Darts Show podcast, which will be previewing the World Darts Championship getting underway on Friday evening. You can hear live commentary of the tournament exclusively here on Talksport 2. Right now, though, let's concentrate on Newcastle. We'll join Adrian Durham and a host of reporters across the country, bringing the final moments from the EFL and the Champions League action tonight.